Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hiram Figueroa, and this is a segment of LinkedIn Perspective, episode 97. So, just reaching out to my individual friends, so to be helping everyone else out. Today, we're talking about Armed Forces Day, and we're going to talk about a couple things here, as I'm trying to get a guest here at the last minute. So for a lot of you people right here, we see posts about Armed Forces Day, but more or less, we're going to talk about having a candid conversation about Armed Forces Day, right? So for the most part, Armed Forces Day is to really reflect on what's going on with the military and how pretty soon Armed Forces Day next weekend is more or less Memorial Day. So for a lot of us, we have to be able to be mindful of what's going on. And a lot of people should be paying attention that the military is going through a lot of changes here in the last minute. So I believe that we need to be able to more or less see what's going on and how, and excuse me, because it's supposed to show on LinkedIn, but I don't see it, but I'll see if we have it. But it shows that it's on there, but let me see what's going on. Let me see. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we'll see what's going on here. I have it. So more or less, people are coming in. So let's talk about Armed Forces Day, right? More or less, Armed Forces Day should be very important, right? The holidays are coming up, Memorial Day. And what does that mean to you? And what is it that you should be paying attention to? A lot of you people are professionals and seeing what's going on. But I like to think that Armed Forces Day is it's a precursor to Memorial Day. And I tell you, bro, you try to get people on here and more or less it's in there. Hold on just a minute. What's happening, bro?
Message on the StreamYard login that says, whoops, it says 404, whoops, there's nothing here. Go to homepage.
Okay, just follow it up there. I'll see what I can do, okay? I'll send you another link, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So let's talk about that Armed Forces Day, right? I think that we need to be able to re-engage right here because a lot of stuff has been happening lately. More or less, how can I put it? All kind of stuff is messed up. You see my audience back there, my two little boys right there, my fur babies. So for a lot of us, we should be able to be, what we talked about at my job, right? Collaboration. So collaborating, right? It should be an important thing about collaborating. And I think that we should be able to get a better understanding how in the veteran community we should be able to collaborate. I spoke to a couple Marines at the gym today, and they're talking about getting out, right? They can't wait to get out. But here's the biggest thing that I explained to them. Do you have an exit plan? Do you have somebody that can actually mentor you to be able to get to this to that process? And he said, no, not really. So for a lot of us, we should be able to understand that. Okay, hold on just a minute. Apologize, things happen. So for a lot of us, we should be able to do that. So I'm going to put somebody on the phone, and it goes right to the message. Hold on just a minute. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties on the other end. So pretty much this is how I'll be able to do this. Backbone of the country, of course. Hey, do me a favor. Don't click into the box. Click into the outer blue link. The outer blue link should take you in there, not the box. Okay?
So hang on. So go to the homepage, you mean?
No. Just click the blue link. Don't click to the home. So just
the upgrade one. There's a blue box that says upgrade.
No, don't. I'll tell you what. I'm live right now. Just click on the blue link and see what you can do. Okay. All right.
I'm not getting a link there, Hiram. That's the thing.
Okay, so we'll talk. We'll follow up. So let me finish this segment. Okay, I'll help you out.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Yep.
Thanks. So when we try to get guests, so this is what happens, right? So let's talk about let's circle back on the original conversation. When we're trying to get guests, people have technical difficulties, but at the same time, let's get back to the original segment of Armed Forces Day, right? The backbone of the country. We should be remember that. What is the most important factor that we should be able to understand is to be able to reach out and mentor and collaborate, as I learned, and more or less. It's not happening, folks. It's not happening. It's not happening. And the reason why I'm saying that, because I'm speaking to veterans and they're stressed out because of the 8.5% inflation rate that has hit the nation, right? So here's the thing. When we're talking about Armed Forces Day, what does that mean to you, right? Is it, hey, thank you for your service, or hey, recognize every branch of the service, or what does it mean? There's a lot of professionals out there that more or less have been out there, doing their thing, but they also want to be recognized as far as, being part of the military. So my whole thing at this point is to understand quite a few things. Is to, one, recognize the veterans that are doing everything they can, and understand that we need to support and be a team. So here's the thing that I learned, right? At work, we did something to more or less support my commander, which we did. Awesome. And honestly, got to meet the commanding general and the colonel and everybody else. So it's good to engage with active duty personnel. But the biggest thing is that, for us civilians, we should remember that we should appreciate the Armed Forces Day for a number of reasons. That freedom's never free, and we do a lot of things that we take for granted, and then we find ourselves very consumed about a lot of things. And I believe that at this point, we need to be able to understand that our personal development as far as the military and professionals should be very paramount at this point for a number of reasons. One, society is changing drastically every minute. And the other thing is that we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing to support our people here in the United States and the people who are suffering from a lot of economic crisis, and especially the veteran community and those who are suffering from a lot of unfortunate circumstances. You ever heard that saying, bad things happen to good people? That happened to me too. Bad things happen to good people. But the biggest thing is that when bad things happen to good people, and when we look at Armed Forces Day, when you call somebody a brother and when you call somebody a sister, that's out of respect. But at the same time, you can say a lot of things. But if you're getting the actual support to be able to, go through these crises, it's important that we understand that, the attitude of gratitude is right there. And the other thing is, when you're suffering and going through these crises, even in your personal life, you get to find out who's who, and especially if you're having it resurface in your professional life, you find out if your work environment is really supportive, or they're going to pass judgment to you as well. So my thing is, understand a number of things, right? We as professionals should be able to have a public discussion as well as a virtual town hall about these type of things, because it happens all around the workplace. So let me make sure that I go in there. So thank you. So cool. Appreciate it. What's up, Soto? How are you? So I just want to give everybody acknowledgement, the backbone of the country, recognize the past and present. Mr. Torres, how are you? Green from Rose Island, still active duty transition next year. Mentoring is the key. That's correct, right? So call it communist Buddhas. Man, there's always somebody's coming in there. Hello, Susan. How are you? Previously had a major discussion with apparent materials before with this person. It makes sense from years ago. YouTube watch, right? Yeah, absolutely. So best wishes to Armed Forces Day and support as well. So look, ladies and gentlemen, let's be very candid, right? Let's talk about significant issues that are going on. Uh, I can tell you, there's no type of actual support. I have to say, in my whole honest opinion, that us as Americans, we're pretty selfish and self-centered when it comes to being successful. For the most part, right? We like to pass the blame, and then when things don't go right, we have so many excuses. So for me, there's reasons and results, but you can't have both. So how can you provide a lot of results if you're backing it up with a lot of reasons, vice versa? So in Armed Forces Day, right, a lot of us that are prior service, it's a program where it's a can-do mentality, and for the most part, a lot of military people need to understand. Probably they need to hear this as a voice that, I appreciate the veteran community. I appreciate people that we have that sense of camaraderie. And the other thing is that, this virtual town hall of LinkedIn Perspective is really for you to be able to, share your thoughts and voice your opinions respectfully. So, praying encouragement for the military leaders and the troops to stay strong spiritually, mentally, and physically. Lean into his word and keep things in perspective. Thank you for doing everything. I appreciate it, James. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. The virtual town hall is for you. So LinkedIn Perspective, right? This broadcast and segment is brought to you by LinkedIn Perspective. Is currently on LinkedIn. I want to personally thank LinkedIn for giving me the opportunity to be able to do this broadcast live, to be able to streamline and then streamline Meta, which is formerly Facebook. And also, if you're curious, if you want to capture this segment or copy the link, it's also on YouTube. So if you want to subscribe to my channel that is really created to capture this kind of episode, subscribe to LinkedIn Perspective on YouTube, and you'll see my face there, and then you'll be able to capture that and share that information as well. It's important that we have this type of virtual town hall conversation for professionals, because with so much redundancy and rhetoric when it comes to the news and negativity, we don't have any opportunity to be able to focus on personal growth, personal development, collaboration, exchanging thoughts, professional constructive criticism, also personal, professional criticism in a way where it's positive, right? It's constructive. So for us, Armed Forces Day is really about the military people in all different branches within the federal government. Those who are serving active duty, those who have retired, those who are about to go through transition. Those individuals right there are the ones that are constantly, focusing on what they're doing. But the biggest thing that I want to be able to share in this little segment of LinkedIn Perspective is to honor and appreciate and validate Armed Forces Day for a number of reasons. Without the military, we wouldn't have what we're having right now. Getting back to Ukraine, what's going on, that situation, and us giving it so much money, it's important. But look at the situation that could have happened to us. And the other thing is, freedom's never free. And the other thing that I want to be able to state is that with Memorial Day coming up, everybody's gearing up. 2 years, we'll go on 3 years of the pandemic. People are just focusing on vacations and more or less understanding that they got things to do. But man, look at the cost of living, man. LA is $7.25, So James, what you got, brother? Let me go that there. Praying encouragement from the military, spiritually, physically. Keep things going. I got that one. Maria, how you doing? Happy Forces Day. Thank you very much. Again, if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective or Facebook, share it, like it, tag it. It's subscribe to LinkedIn Perspective on YouTube. That's a channel I just recently activate. So it's for a lot of individuals that can reciprocate what's going on. But the segment really is for Armed Forces Day, to understand and appreciate the family members, the Gold Star family members, the women and children who support that are actively supporting the military. So I just want to be able to share that with you as much as possible. And then, you know, understand that it's very important what's going on. Oh, what you got, James? Sorry, I was going that could happen to us. Correct. And I'm sorry about that. Correct. That could happen to us, and it could happen to us. But a lot of us won't let that happen. And what I'm saying is, Americans today, we're too consumed with so much materialistic things, and how can I do it? Positioning, which is fine, but we're lacking in the humanity and the engagement. As I'm learning at my job, right? Collaboration, right? How to collaborate. Well, collaboration is great, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't support it by action. And I think that that's the biggest thing. We can talk all day till the cows come home, but the biggest thing that I can honestly say is that your actions don't mean anything if words within deeds are the most important thing that need to be able to put out there. So for myself as a veteran, right, I'm looking to be able to change the direction. Here's what I learned just recently, right? When you're going through challenges and you're going through some tough times, majority of the people that see that see that kind of adversity pass judgment and pretty much categorize you. But then again, you have to bring out your big boy pants and say, reinvent yourself, change directions, pivot, and be a man about it. Nobody else is going to save you. And like Tony Robbins says, right? Sometimes you got to burn the boat because you're not going back. And I think that for the most part, people need to understand that. Sometimes life choices that are put in front of you are put in front of you for a reason, right? To be testing you and your character and your wisdom. But at the same time, it opens up opportunities for people who are surrounded by you, not only personally, but professionally, and how they view you as an individual. How quick society is to pass judgment and categorize people without seeking the facts. And for us as Americans, as human beings, we are so critical on passing judgment with everybody else, we forget that we need to look at ourselves. My point is, in Armed Forces Day, we do a lot for society that is more or less never said, untold, or never really appreciated. So, for the most part, I just want to be able to share that with you to understand that in Armed Forces Day today, you need to be able to really appreciate everything and understand that Memorial Day is coming up in about a week, right? Everybody's gearing up for Memorial Day, but people are not paying attention, you know? And you're right, everything is a test. Correct, James. Everything is a test for a number of reasons. And people are I'll be very transparent, right? I'm going through some stuff right now, but I can honestly tell you, I was very hard on myself for a number of reasons, right? Going through some personal challenges, but it had to be exposed in my work environment. You know what I learned from that? I was more or less categorized as an issue. My man, Matt,
Doing today, Harold?
what's up, brother? You got a camera? You got a camera on?
Stand by. I am gonna see if I can get this rigged up. I'm on my phone right now.
What's up, bro?
How are you?
Finally, we get to meet, man.
Weird.
Well,
Yes. How are you?
all right. So, Matt, why don't you introduce yourself since I finally I'm tired of speaking to myself, so it's important. You know?
You're the only one here?
Well, I try to get another guy in there, but go ahead, Matt. You got the floor. Hey, it's a pleasure meeting you. So let's talk. Go ahead.
You as well, sir. My name is Matt Blaze. I currently live in Florida, and I was served in the Air Force 4 years from 92 to 96. Over the last year or so, I've had a pretty hard calling to serve again and figure out what I wanted to do, and knew I needed to do something, and somehow don't know exactly how it was, but stumbled across Flanders Fields and FlandersFields.org. Reached out to them, and they didn't realize at the time how new Flanders Fields was, but it took with a short time figured out how new they were, and realized they would just get going. But got introduced to Ben Owen and Robert Coleman, and these guys are just fantastic people, and they basically opened me with open arms, and it's awesome.
So Matt, why
I
don't you
love being
tell
able to serve
people?
in this facet.
So Matt, why don't you share the audience how we met and how is it that we need to collaborate, especially today on Armed Forces Day, brother.
You're gonna have to say that again. I'm sorry, I broke up there for a second.
So explain to the audience how we met and how we're collaborating, right? And how important it is to utilize the networking process, and then in Armed Forces Day, and what is it that we do to be able to be successful. Okay, you got it? Can you hear me?
I'm so sorry. I don't know. I don't know if it's my connection or if it's your connection. But
I think it's
give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this thing sorted out.
no, don't take your time. So that's what happens when you go live. Can you hear me?
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. Put your camera on.
I'm here now. I think I got it a little better.
All right. Let's get your camera on right there. There you go.
There we go.
All right.
Sorry about that.
No. So explain to the people, right, how we met and more or less why we need to collaborate. Can you hear me? No. Matt, come in, Matt.
I think I got a bit of that of like how are he? Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Come in, Matt. Well, it looks like we're having a technical difficulty, so I'm going to keep on doing what we need to do. So, Matt, if you can hear me, we're waiting for you to be connected here. How about now? You driving?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
My wife is driving now.
All right, so go ahead. So, explain to the audience.
No,
can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Can you explain to the audience how we met and how it's important for us to collaborate?
Well, I met through, it was Ben Owen and Robert. They were on the initial podcast that I seen with you, or you had a podcast, had them as guests, and from there it was basically reached out through LinkedIn. LinkedIn has served as a pretty solid foundation in order for us to be able to collaborate and kind of get information out to each other, as well as finding out who's doing what within the community for armed service, armed forces, and veterans.
Hey, welcome to doing it live.
Put my seatbelt down, right?
Oh, sure. That's why. Hey, that's why it's how you call it? It's people. It's not take one or take two. You get what I'm saying? That's the beauty of doing things live, right?
That's right.
So go ahead, Matt.
Right. So, we're all human.
Yeah, no, not passing judgment. It's for people to understand how important it is to go live when things don't go right, because they're so used to seeing things that are very scripted. So go ahead, Matt. Keep on going since you got things situated.
Well, it was basically LinkedIn and doing a lot of searching and just seeing who's involved in the community. I know Flanders Fields and Ben Owen have definitely opened my eyes within the last 7 months that I've been with Flanders, that the community is a very solid group of people within LinkedIn that utilize LinkedIn to get information out there, get support, and to help each other getting information and assistance out to our foundational help network within the veteran community.
So explain to what you do for Flanders Field and how important it is for people to be able to reach out to you, especially today in Armed Forces Day, with your wife supporting you and driving.
She supports me in every way.
Yeah,
she's amazing. Really, my involvement getting into like I was saying, as new as Flanders Fields was, when I came into it, I had seen a lot of vendors at different events. You know, they've got a booth, they're selling shirts, they're trying to get the names out there. And so that was what I saw myself doing for Flanders. And when I first spoke to, I think it was Robert Coleman, he's like, all right, he says, we'll call you the fundraising coordinator. So he gave me a title immediately. And I'm like, dude, you know, I have no idea what it is to raise money, you know, like that. So a lot of the stuff that I've done basically over the last 7 months is taken over. Ben and I have been the ones that are basically doing all the posting on social media. And my first event actually since starting is coming up next weekend here in Daytona at the Heroes Honor Festival for, you know, honoring Vietnam veterans. So Toby Keith, it's a huge event, and you know they're expecting somewhere around 30,000 people. So we're you know, we're happy to be there, excited to be there, to be able to represent, you know, Flanders and get the word out there, and you know, basically just spread the word.
So how do you feel being on live and talking about this foundation and collaboration? How do you feel about that? Let me ask you that.
Nervous.
Don't be nervous, man. You know.
No.
You,
Well, I saw that we were getting ready to walk out the door, and I saw the thing. I saw it. You said, you know, in 20 minutes we're going live, and it was like 20 minutes later, and I was scrambling through the house, and I said, I got to try to. You know, I reached out to Ben. He's at his son's birthday party, and I said, I got to try to make it. So, again, with my wife's support, she's hooked me up here.
well, let your wife know. Hey, thank you very much. But I think that they'll be able to be able to help you out. So if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, subscribe to LinkedIn Perspective on YouTube. Share it, like it, tag it, and it's about more or less collaboration, virtual town hall, and to be able to engage with social media networks themselves and collaborate with connections, and actually do a virtual vetting, because we're constantly looking at everybody's profile, but we don't get to hear or see who they are. Does that make sense?
Right.
So,
absolutely. It is neat to see a lot of the stuff, and you kind of get to learn people and know people that way. But you know, it's not like this.
yeah, well, you know, I did it at the spur of the moment. Normally, I get a lot of people, but the hell with it. You know, that's how it is. And for myself, it is like I stated before. Sometimes you got to be able to collaborate and reach out to people, because people don't really understand the sense of unity and collaboration with other veterans from nonprofit organizations, and why is there some needed support. Give your perspective on why is it so important. Why is it so important, Matt?
I have to think it's the the reach. You know, I can do you know just so much myself, and I think we all have a common goal in getting help to veterans and supporting these guys that need help. And you know, I guess I forget that term. You know, one of us can do great things, but all of us together can do change the world, sort of thing. So I think it kind of opens the doors to being able to network and help each other. Help each other get the common goals. I guess that's the word.
Right. So for your wife, right? How does she view you as a veteran? How does she view Flanders Fields from a spouse perspective, from a support perspective? How does she view that? She can voice.
She wasn't driving. I'd have her talk to you.
That's okay, man. That's what
you want to say.
She can talk.
She'll talk. She'll talk.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, for sure, I can hear you. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too. Ashley, Matt's wife. You said that and I instantly kind of teared up. I couldn't be more proud of my husband for the service that he's provided to our country, the support that he gives to veterans every day, everything that he does for Flanders Fields. I see him, the times that he's up and working on promoting the name, promoting Flanders Fields, because he believes in so much what they do for veterans. It touches his heart, and therefore it touches my heart. I couldn't be prouder of him, and fully support Flanders Fields and everything that they're doing and trying to accomplish with their motive and with their outreach to the community and veterans.
So I have a question.
I'd look at you, but I'm driving. So
no. Just focus. Focus. You got another set of eyes right there. That's why it's like Bluetooth, right? So you and I'm sure you guys have kids, right? Right? If you don't, I just
Yes.
want to ask. So why is it so important from a spouse perspective that people should be able to support their husbands, from the veteran community? You as a mother, how do you see it from a woman's point of view of why is it so important, especially coming up from Memorial Day? You've been through, you guys have a story together, and just nip it in the bud for people to understand why is it so important from Armed Forces Day to Memorial Day and supporting a spouse on a daily basis. Go ahead.
Well, I spoke a moment ago about how proud I am of him. I'm proud of him for serving our country. It goes even one step further to be able to teach our children the importance of serving our country and the importance of serving vets who have served our country, just the support and the outreach that they need. So sharing that with our children, not only my husband's story, but the thousands of stories that are out there for veterans who have served our country. Taking it one step further, we are very faith-based in our house, as well as Flanders Fields. So it really rings true, their mission and their motive for Flanders Fields, not only with my husband and veterans, but also with our faith. So it really ties in with everything that we believe in our family. And we are able to teach our children not only the importance of faith through Flanders Fields beliefs and our beliefs, but also the importance of ministry and outreach to veterans across the nation.
Man, she's good. I'm gonna have her on the show more often.
Dude, I'm telling you what, she is
She's
absolutely
killing it.
amazing.
She's killing it. I love it. But the biggest thing
Yeah.
is, Ashley, let me ask you a question, right? How do you feel about live streaming now, right? And why is it that now in social media, how is it so important to be able to use this in a positive sense? From a mother, spouse, or woman's perspective, let me hear you from your end.
I think the outreach, my husband spoke to that a moment ago, is the outreach that we're able to touch hundreds of thousands of people in a moment, right? Being live stream right now, where we are. Anybody who can drop in can listen to this message in an instant, can understand a little bit more about Flanders Fields, a little bit why it's important to support veterans. Just hearing it from a woman's perspective, hearing it from a veteran himself, that instant outreach of hundreds of thousands of people, the live stream is critical around along with social media.
So I'm glad you chimed in because women think quick on their feet. They know how to multitask. So Matt's right there. So I'm sure that you guys been together for so long. They'll rub off on him. So Matt, my man, explain to the
Yes, sir.
men. Explain to the men, right? Why is it so important to forge and collaborate and build relationships from a male perspective, from as a veteran? We heard it from your wife, but let's hear it from your end because I've been sharing this for so long, but I want to hear it from a fresh set of eyes so people can understand that.
As far as towards the veteran community, or just
The whole
sorry.
shebang, bro. Just think of it as we're at the bar, but we're not drinking right now.
I don't know. I'm probably going to be a little bit off topic here, a little bit, but I wouldn't be anywhere close to who I am or where I am in life without her. She is a constant cheerleader, a constant support system, and like she mentioned, faith. We met at church, and that's basically been our foundation right from the very beginning is God, and with every decision we make, having that soulmate, there. I hate to say that word soulmate, but
No.
it
Don't
feels
say
that.
don't hate to say that because I believe people need to hear that, right? Think about it this
Yeah.
way for both of you, right? I'm a faith-based Christian, right? And my wife is
Yep.
a Christian. And I think people need to understand that with faith, a lot of things happen. And I put myself out there for a number of reasons. As I stated in the beginning of the show,
Yep.
bad things happen to good people. But when bad things happen to good people, the blessing in disguise is it unravels, reveals who's there for you, you know, and then who's going to be able to
Right.
support. And it's going to test your faith in a lot of ways, right? So a lot of people need to
Right.
understand that. especially if you're a veteran. So whether it's a crisis, a personal crisis, where it's a personal crisis at home, and especially in the professional field, this is where not everyone is your friend and you can't trust anyone. But as I stated before, for you and Ashley, how quick, how how easy it is for people to pass judgment when you're having a negative uh, adversity connotation that affects you in your life. How do you feel about that?
I think that there's one thing. I'm a huge fan of music, and there's a was it the band POD, Payable on Death is what it stands for, and I remember hearing them say in one of his speeches, and I know we've all seen it before. I'm saved, we're Christians, but we're not just we're forgiven. What it is. I'm not perfect. I'm forgiven.
Right.
I'm human, and we're all human. We're all going to go through struggles and emotions and tough times, but the one thing that we have, my wife and I, and what you and I have, is we have hope. There's something we look through. We've got God, as our focus and our, that's the shoulder we lean on. That's who we look to for all purposes. And I don't see, and we've had conversations where, who, people that don't believe in God or don't have a relationship with God, like, what do they do? How lonely is that to go through a struggle and have fears and problems and issues and not know that God is there or not believe that? How lonely of a feeling would that be?
Ashley, I have to ask you a question, right? What's been the biggest challenge that people don't really understand from a woman's perspective when things go bad, how it affects you as the backbone of the household?
I don't know that it may be something that people don't really understand, but as from a woman's perspective, there's a lot that we carry. We're responsible for the emotional well-being and safety of our children, the emotional well-being and the safety of our marriage, collaborating, of course, with our husbands. But I think that sometimes when there are challenges that uprise, it's not only just the challenge that we face, but it's the remembering and the responsibility to ensure that our family remains intact at the base of that, the foundation, and to continue to keep our children's eyes and our family's eyes focused on God. And so that sometimes just being human, dealing with the challenge in and of itself on our own terms as an individual, but also remembering that we have to carry our family through that as well in the most secure, solid way, positive way, and trying to focus on the positives out of any challenge. So sometimes that's difficult. So from a woman's perspective, it's just making sure that our family remains intact.
So let me ask you a question, Ashley. Being live streamed, what have you learned about this segment, and what have you learned about yourself and your husband since we're going live, and myself? You know.
I've never been live before. I've never been live while driving, so I guess that's a new opportunity that I've never been able to take, and so just doing something new out of the at the spur of the moment, not having been prepared or met you in the past, but we're all able to face and rise to the occasion. I think that's probably a takeaway for me.
Okay. Matt, what about you, my man? What have you learned about this and me? Sorry about my dog. See what I'm talking about when we go live? We got the landscaper coming out there, and he's acting foolish.
If we were at home, we'd have our dog barking now because your dog is barking. I think.
See what I'm talking about? I got the lawnmower. Go ahead. Hold on just a minute. Here's where the earbuds got to come in.
Right. No, it's like spur of the moment. It's like talking here and there. Talking to somebody at a bar and just kind of.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I am. So a lot of people, we're dropping a lot of audience, but this is what happens. So, last couple of minutes. Now that you've met me in person, what have you learned? What have you gotten, and how can people? What's the biggest takeaway that you can do this for? Sorry about that. I got my own distractions.
No, you're fine. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that you've taken time out of your day to take a moment to reach out and to express some sort of gratitude and appreciation for the veterans on Armed Forces Day. And you could be doing whatever it is that you're doing, or whatever it is that you do in your life, or we're doing, and the time is actually taken out of your day, and it's not something you do just today. It's something you do every day.
Yeah.
And I know that from seeing your posts and seeing your activity on LinkedIn and social media. So I can say my biggest takeaway is just you are who you appear to be, and I appreciate this.
So I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people need to understand when they look at this pre-recording, right? When you can share this with Ben, and you can say, "Yeah, we did it spur of the moment. It was like nothing like doing it live,
Yeah.
right? Where people think everything is so professional."
Right.
But I think the biggest thing that people need to understand
Right.
is once you do it live, you really get to see how people are at that moment, right? They're not putting a front like, "Hey, I'm doing the honeymoon, I'm
Right.
courting you." It's like, okay, let's talk about it. All right, what's
Right.
going on? So I think that's what's the big thing.
Right.
And the last thing is, I really want to focus on Flanders Field, and I think people need to hear about Flanders Field. So go ahead, say something about Flanders Field that people don't really understand because they see your post, but now you have an opportunity to be able to say it live. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Flanders Fields is a group of like people that come together. They're veterans. There are non-veterans within our group, and our primary focus is the foundation of Flanders Fields is addiction and homelessness. The founder is somebody that struggled with this personally himself, and his life's mission now has become to help people get out of this hell, this hell of homelessness and addiction. And me being involved with it, I didn't know coming into it a year ago exactly what my direction was going to be, but I felt led to come right here. Like I said, just joining Flanders with their Christian values and views, along with their focus to veterans, and it just it's just perfect. These guys are really they're working on setting up clean living facilities now. That's our biggest thing that we're working on now. We've got one in Memphis, Tennessee that we're working on, and another one somewhere in Georgia that we haven't determined just yet. But it's a big mission that these guys are involved in, and I'm proud to be here.
Hey, you got to excuse the background. I'm getting the dog barking, the landscaper. But here, I'm going to read something from Manny Canales. I am honored to be a Vietnam vet. I've served my country for 4 years during the times after my discharge. I'm thankful for my service many times. And as I must say, I'm honored to serve my country as a staff sergeant. Manny Canales would like to give another 4 years if it's still physically able. I want to thank my brothers and sisters for all the services, and I would especially thank those who did not return home for Memorial Day. So that's one of the things. So I know you're doing on the fly. Last 3 minutes, Ashley, your turn. You're up to bat. What would you like to leave a lasting impression?
All right.
Go ahead.
I think that the big focus here is the promotion of Flanders Fields. My husband has been involved with this organization from almost the beginning, the early stages of it. The idea here is to continue to promote and support veterans across the United States. In honor of Memorial Day coming up, I think it's great that you mentioned that some don't make it back. But our focus here is to ensure that those who are here and still with us, that they're important too. Their voices are important to promote the removal from the streets, get them into appropriate housing, take them and help them from addiction standpoint. As many of them come back and don't have support.
We're cutting out. Man, it's happening today. You cut out for about. You're cutting. No. Hello?
Oh no.
Okay.
Hear us now.
Yeah, give me the. Give me.
Got it?
Give me the last minute that you lost.
Promote Flanders Fields. No, that's okay. Just promoting Flanders Fields, continuing to support them, raise money so that they can take those funds that are raised to continue to support the veterans across our nation from homelessness to addiction. It's critical. We support them when they're overseas and they're serving. It's equally as important to continue to support veterans when they're no longer serving our country and no longer active. They still have value. They still add value because of the value that they have given to our country. So Flanders
Matt.
Fields all the way.
No, thank you, Matt. So,
Yes, sir.
what do you want to? What do you, as a Christian, what do you want to emphasize the biggest thing today as you're going in there? Because a lot of people need to understand. I want to give you as much airtime as possible because I'm always talking to myself. So this is like, I don't have that benefit.
Oh, that.
Go ahead.
No, I talk to myself all the time. Oh man,
Did you lose him?
did I lose you?
No, I'm right here. I see the car moving. Just go ahead.
Okay.
Fire away.
It's skipping in and out.
That's okay.
I hate to ask you that. Can you ask me that again? I'm sorry.
So explain to people why is it so important to collaborate, and why is it that people need to pay attention to these type of nonprofits, especially Flanders Field? Go.
Well, I think I want to say that there are a ton of nonprofits out there right now, and it's very difficult. It's like going to a car lot. You've got all kinds of options to choose from, and I think you got to go and you've got to feel much like I was. I was pushing it. I was trying to look around, but Flanders Fields, it just came to me. I don't remember how I saw their post, but it was a Christian. It was a Bible verse, and it's one of those things where you got to trust your gut. And when things are laid out in front of you, don't ignore it and just act on it. If you're feeling called, if you're feeling pushed, I'm not going to sit here and say that Flanders Fields is good for everybody, but there are tons of people out there that want and need to be a part of Flanders Fields. So, I don't know what else to say, I guess.
So I wanted to personally, you can switch the camera to Ashley because I'm going to close it out. Because as you hear the back noise, I hear the dog, I hear my landscaper and everything else. So Ashley, I want to personally thank you for multitasking as a typical spouse, and I'm not categorizing. It shows, it demonstrates on live stream that when we have to do things, it's like we improvise, we support our spouse, we do everything else, but we talk about it. And people need to realize that when we go live, a lot of things happen unexpectedly, and people need to feel a little bit more human and not perpetuate, hey, I'm doing this live stream, I got a big mic, I'm doing this. When people see people like you and your husband, they can say, we're approachable, we can express our thoughts, you can judge us, but we're pretty much your average, happy-go-lucky American family that have our strong beliefs and values. So go ahead, close it out, man. You got it.
All right. So, I completely agree with you. I think that's a great point to make from a live stream perspective. We're all human. This isn't a canned, rehearsed broadcast. We're sitting here, husband and wife, on our way to dinner date night, right? And so,
That's good.
just want to thank you for giving us that opportunity, to be able to come and speak about the work that my husband's been doing with Flanders Fields and their mission to support veterans across the United States. And so, you see us out in public, come say hi. We'll be happy to talk to you.
So one thing you learned about me, now that you've met me, your first impression, what have you gotten out of this live stream real quick with me?
Just an easygoing conversation. Again, I've never been part of a live stream, so I didn't come into it with any preconceived notions. But definitely, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and great opportunity. So thank you.
All right. Matt, you close it out, my man. Camera to you, bro. Switch it. Go for it.
Oh, no, I'd have to say the same thing. I've seen a lot on social media, just saw a lot of your posts and follow a lot of what you've done and been involved in a few of the not involved, but listened in and watched some of the Perspective podcasts, and it's an honor. It's an honor to meet you. I thank you for your service, and thank you for what you're continuing to do here. It's an absolute honor to be on this platform with you. I look up to anybody that's ever served, and I think that it's a great opportunity here and an absolute honor.
Well, it's an honor for you guys. I don't want to interrupt your dinner date. It's spouse date. It's important to re-engage because I do the same thing. So, hey, if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspectives, like it, tag it, subscribe it. More or less, if you're interested, it's on the YouTube channel. You could take that, Matt, and send it to Ben. He'll laugh about it. But the biggest thing that people will know is that when we do live stream, everything goes, man. Nothing is secure. Noise in the background, signal, turning signals, seatbelt alarms, dogs barking in the background. I'm putting my earplugs in. But here's the thing. People need to understand when we do live stream, it's all about communication, right? So that's the biggest thing. So, hey, God bless. I want to personally thank you. If you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it. This is to honor Armed Forces Day. So I'm going to have to shut it out because the leaf blower man's coming out. So peace out, Simplify. Always be beside you. Enjoy your dinner date. Thank you.
Thank you.